He saw the best in me when everyone else around could only see the worst in me. Carlton was in church. He said, he saw the best in me when everyone else around could only see the worst in me. And I was like, yeah, sing, man. And then he called anxiety and stopped. What's up, y'all? This is Ty. I am here to review season 1, episode 9 of Bel-Air, which is the dramatic reinterpretation of the 90s sitcom The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, which airs on the Peacock network. And the episode is called Can't Knock the Hustle. And I'm catching up because it airs every Thursday. Here I am catching up. Don't judge me. I know I'm late, but I watched it now and I'm reviewing it tonight. But before I get into that, I got to give a shout out to my lovely subscribers. I'm talking about folks like Savannah Rivers, Amore, Dupree, June, BLC, Tia Divine, Simply Be Yourself 100, Ativ, Karima Khadija, and all the rest of you lovely, wonderful people. And listen, you too can be a part of the family by doing what? Bam! Hitting the subscribe button. It only takes a minute. Just hit the subscribe button. You're going to love it over here. So just go on. Ask them. You're going to love it over here. Just hit the subscribe button so we can keep this channel going and growing. Now, with all that being said, let's get right back down to this episode. Let's review this. Like I said, the Banks family went to church, y'all. Carlton has this big solo. And, Uncle Phil was excited about it. Everybody was excited about it. Will had talked to me. He said, I didn't know you could sing. You could sing like that. And, Carlton was like, I do a little something. Now, he had a very nice voice, and I was into it. But then he caught anxiety. And so before that, we saw Ashley telling the pastor, like, listen, pastor, when you going to have some LGBT, let's talk about this LGBT. When we going to get more LGBT people involved in the church and stuff. I'm like, okay, Ashley. And then we had Hillary running into one of her old friends who is also an influencer and saying, well, maybe we can collaborate or something. And then we saw Will talking to Carlton, telling Carlton, like, listen, I'm having this, he was having anxiety too. Like, I want to meet my father. What do you think? I'm a little nervous about that. And Carlton's like, listen, right now I ain't got time for this. I got to get ready for this solo. He's like, I got to get ready for this solo. He goes in there, gets up there, like I said, he saw the best in me, singing that Marvin Sapp. That's a good song, too. When everyone else around only see the worst in me. And I was like, and then he kept repeating himself. Then he got nervous, and they're like, come on, Carlton, pull through. Even I was like, pull through, Carlton. Come on, pull through. You can do it. He froze up and stormed off. And he didn't get to the part I like, he's mine, I'm his. It doesn't matter what I did. I was waiting. He only sees me for who I am. I was waiting for that part, but he didn't get to that part. So he froze, he stormed off, and I had to laugh because the pastor was like, oh, y'all, somebody go check on him. No, pastor, you go check on him. Listen, the choirs are always ready. It should have... Sister Bernice or Brother Joe, somebody could have took over the song or sang another song while the pastor go see what's going on. But we did see his mother get up and go deal with him. So now we're back home, and Will is telling Hillary, he says, listen, the issue that's going on with him at, they were at Lily of the Valley Church, by the way. He said, it wasn't just his nerves. He said, he told Hillary, he said, listen, Carlton on that stuff, he doing that coke and all that. And she was like, what? She said, well, you need to go talk to him and go talk to him now. And I like how Will and Carlton's relationship has improved since the beginning of these episodes. And they're like, cool. And Will really did go speak to him and said, what was wrong? Carlton tried to front at first and was like, oh, it was hot. I didn't eat nothing and the church was hot. And that just, nah. You have this anxiety. And Will said, listen, I'm here for you, because, last time you got nervous, you had to do a speech. You did that coke. You did a line of coke. Listen, you're doing this coke. And Will was like, and Carlton got a little offended. But then I liked that bond they had. He told me, he said, listen, you don't have to carry this burden alone. I can help you listen, when you feel like you got to do them drugs or whatever, I can help you. Come to me, cuz. And I like that scene. And I also liked where Carlton basically said to him, he thanked him because he said, listen, I was tempted. And I thought when Will left the room, I thought he was going to go get him some of that coke, but he didn't. And I appreciated that. I like that they're showing them bonding and supporting each other and helping each other out. And I thought that was pretty good. And then we also see another relationship here. We see Jeffrey and Uncle Phil's relationship. Jeffrey's not feeling this whole thing because, Uncle Phil is running for DA and he's going against Wilkes. And, his advisors telling him, played by Dwayne Martin, Uncle Phil's advisor, telling him you got to get dirty, down and dirty in this campaign. And Jeffrey's not really feeling that. And they kind of clashed on that. And then they really came to head when Uncle Phil found out that Jeffrey went on ahead and gave Will this information on his daddy, Lou. And he's like, I thought I told you not to do that. Because, what happened was Will had asked Jeffrey about information on his father. And he did that. And Phil told Jeffrey not to do that. Jeffrey did it anyway. And then when Jeffrey gave this information to Will couldn't bring himself to open the envelope and read the things about his own dad. So he took it to Uncle Phil and said, I just couldn't do it. I just don't want to know because you were more of a father to me. Now, see, I was like, now, wait a minute. See, me, I would have opened that. I need to know. I guess I'm more, I have a more inquiring mind. I need to know what this dude is about. I would have read the hell out of that package. I would bust that envelope open. I would have known everything about Daddy Lou. But that's just me. So the disagreement came into play when Uncle Phil confronted Jeffrey about it. It was like, so you went and did this? And he said, well, I thought he needed to know about his father. And, maybe when he came to you and said he didn't have the heart to open it, you should have opened it with him and went through it with him. And I agreed with Jeffrey. I was on Jeffrey's side with that. And then Uncle Phil puffed out his chest and told him, you work for me. And they went into this back and forth thing. And you just saying all this stuff because you feel guilty because you abandoned your son or something like that, he said to Jeffrey. And then, that was a touchy subject. And then they got back and forth. He said, well, wait a minute. Jeffrey said, well, let me speak freely to you. And he pretty much told him, you put your career and everything against your family. Your wife buried her career under your ambition. When I watch you gain all this success, when does it stop? Your son, he doesn't have a chance to be himself because he's trying to be under you. He went to go into the daughter thing, and Uncle Phil was like, hold on now, watch yourself. And then Uncle Phil fired him. Then he told me, he said, listen, that's not going to be a good look. If you fire him, there's going to be questions asked. Just say I took a leave of absence. They agreed to take this leave of absence. And I thought it was cool. That was some good acting. The scene between them, Uncle Phil and Jeffrey, that hug, the cry, the tears, the anger, the pride in both of them about the situation. You could tell they really care for each other, but they don't agree on this particular situation. For me, I was on Jeffrey's side. I agree with everything that Jeffrey was saying, and I think it hit home for Phil. It really hit home for Phil. And I thought that was pretty good. Another thing we saw tonight, or in this episode, which I enjoyed, was we got to see the original Vi and the second Aunt Viv, not the original Aunt Viv, the second Aunt Viv, they call her light-skinned Aunt Viv from the sitcom, had cameo appearances in this episode as the people who were going to give Viv this fellowship, this arts fellowship. And that was a great scene, and great seeing those two, and they're asking her why she thinks she should be chosen. And she went into, and she mentioned why she should, but she also went into why she stopped. And they said, well, what made you start back up? Why did you stop your art? And then they said, well, what made you start back up with your art? And she said, my nephew Will, he just has this ambition and this light about him that reminded me of me. And I like that too. And she's like, and that made me want to get back out here and do this and be fearless. And they told her, they said, listen, we already chose you and your answers to our questions was great and we enjoyed that. But listen, this is what we're going to do because there's a lot of responsibilities. You're going to have to be on the road, tour. You got to, do all these things to promote this art and do all that. Will you be up to the task? And that may take you from home. And she said, you got 24 hours to think about this. Of course, Aunt Viv goes home, and with everything that's going on in the family, she calls the lady. She's telling her that she doesn't think she's going to do it. And she went down the list of everything that's going on with her family. The husband's running for DA and he may win this, that, and the third. The lady said, hold on, stop right now. Let me tell you to stop. Just stop it right now, because I told you, you got 24 hours. The 24 hours ain't up. Come back to me in 24 hours. And I like that they said it. Come back to me in 24 hours. So while all of that is brewing, we see Lisa with Wilkes, her dad, and he's telling her, Will is no good, stay away from him. And he mentions the whole thing about how Will really got to Philly and the whole thing about the cover up, about him getting in trouble. He ain't no good. You need to stay away from him, this, that, and the third. So Lisa goes over to the house to confirm this with Will because she don't want to believe it. She done gave up the drawers to him. And she's like, I done gave you the drawers and everything. Well, she didn't say that. Y'all know how I paraphrase. She was like, I done gave you the drawers and you done busted down. And I don't really know you. Is this true? Is this really you? And, she was upset about that. And he explained himself and what really happened. And she told him, well, listen, my daddy going to use this against your uncle at the debate tonight. He's going to use this to get at your uncle and expose that all this stuff y'all, they did to get you here and, breaking the law basically to get you here to start a better life for you. And so Will and Carlton have to go and let Uncle Phil know this. And what else happened in this episode before I finish that off? We also saw, I did like this. We saw Aunt Viv trying to speak to Ashley, because, earlier Ashley was talking about gay rights this and gay rights that and LGBT. A mother knows. So she wants to know, is there anything else going on? You could talk to me about it and let me know. So Aunt Viv knows. She's like, Ashley, you can speak to me. You can tell me about whatever it is. And I like that scene that she's trying to let her know. You have my support. If because I'm noticing you got all this, all of a sudden you went from this topic, now you all into this LGBTQ stuff. What's going on with you? And I did like that. And I also like Jazz supporting Hillary when Hillary went over to the house to steal her sign back or whatever. And she's like, I got to handle this on my own. He's like, you sure you handle it on your own? You got me over here helping you. So I did like that. I just want to put that in there. But getting back to the big debate thing, Will and Carlton got to go to this debate and tell Uncle Phil what's going on. And at first they were having trouble getting in. Security was like, nah, you ain't got no pass. You can't get back here. Then they yelled his name. They got let back in there. They told him what was going on. Now, this is what surprised me. Get to this debate, and Uncle Phil, I guess all these things was hitting him. The things that Jeffrey said kind of hit him, made him think about some things. And then I think that's what kind of did it. And then he's like, I can't risk all this scandal and all this foolishness. That's what I'm thinking. He's thinking. So he decides. He says, you know what? I'm stepping out of the race. Wilkes will be the better candidate, and I'm going to support him. Those of you who was going to vote for me, go on and vote for him. I got to deal with my family. And I was like, I like that. I really like that. And he told Viv, he said, Viv, please say you're going to take that fellowship. Come on. We're successful enough. Now go live your dreams. Go do what you got to do. And I was like, I really like that. This show, this was a good episode. I'm enjoying this show. I'm liking how they did this. And I know a lot of people were skeptical, like, why are they doing this? What is this going to be? But I'm really liking how these characters are fleshed out, this dramatic turn. I'm enjoying that. So that's all I got. Tell me your thoughts down below. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you all in the next video.